when you come into the Brauer Museum, there should be a picture of Brauer. I get asked that question all the time. Who is the Brauer behind the Brauer Museum of Art? And I love to tell the story.
I was contacted by Greg Hertzlieb, the director of the museum, to paint the portrait. I was pretty shocked when I first was contacted because of how important Dick Brauer is just to Valparaiso University, just to the community here. So many people just look up to him tremendously, just for all of the work he's done. He laid the foundations for the museum.
When I listened to Richard Brauer, founding museum director, tell the story of the museum, for me, on the one hand, it's an interesting story, but also for me, it's laying out the foundation, what the Brauer Museum is built upon, what kind of concepts or thoughts lie at the heart of the museum, how it was made or how it all came together. And I guess I'm talking with that about not only the physical space of the museum, but also the conceptual goals that Dick Brauer had for the museum.
I had just come to Valparaiso University in 1961, given the responsibility for taking care of the art collection. I looked at the collection and it seemed to be within, have a very narrow range of art from the late 19th century into the early 20th century. The art department had just started, and I felt I was puzzled as to how to use the collection educationally. I felt that we needed to broaden the scope of the collection. Now we're sitting here in the Sloan Gallery. Behind me is a major, ambitious painting by Junius Sloan. It was Sloan's son, Percy, who in his retirement had inherited his father's paintings and sought them out during his lifetime to give his father's painting to an educational institution in the Chicago area that would use the collection educationally. And Percy, in 1948, put out a notice to educational institutions in the Chicago area that he had a collection of art, of American paintings he would be willing to lend free of fee to any educational institution. Valparaiso University got that, and that Valparaiso used the collection educationally and housed it properly.
The museum started with Percy Sloan's gift of Junius Sloan's art. In addition to Junius Sloan's art, the Percy Sloan gift also included Percy's personal art collection. And it was all of the realistic variety, but it was all American art and also had a regional focus to the collection. Within that style of realism, it was remarkably varied, and it provided us with a kernel from which to grow, and grow in a very organic and sensible fashion. Nevertheless, it was American art at root. And what we want to do is we want to tell a story of American art through very fine examples, the finest examples we can acquire. Fortunately, the Percy Sloan donation gives us so much to build from. It includes some remarkable figures in American art history. You couldn't imagine a better seed to grow from, and that was really nice. From Percy Sloan's conservative beginnings, we've actually moved into some more adventurous directions, but nevertheless, we stay true to that focus or initial mission of American art.
Late 19th century conservative and early 20th century conservative paintings was not enough. And so my desire, my heart's desire, was to bring in 20th century works. In my mind, I didn't know much more, probably than the A-list of American painters. And George O'Keeffe was one of my favorites.
To have a George O'Keeffe in our museum is huge. I mean, and it's a very important piece. It gets included a lot in different O'Keeffe shows by the George O'Keeffe Museum in Santa Fe. They like our work, they like to include it, so it travels a lot.
And the American Federation of Arts had a program of sending out exhibits. They said that those that borrowed the show could have one of the paintings in the show. We're given the Berthold, which is now a very nice example of photorealism. There were some discussion about maybe the prices were too high and maybe we should wait until the prices go down. Well, it's good we didn't wait, because our income never kept up with the rise in market price for the A-level painters. We needed a good financial stream of money to afford exhibits that were not conservative American paintings. And along came Josephine and Byron Ferguson. The Fergusons, Josephine Ferguson, started the Friends of Art. Amazing. At their height, they were 500 members. They were able to buy works of art, help us buy works of art.
The work that we did have, that had been given to the university, was currently housed in the library, the Mollring Library, which was not a facility that was intended ever to be a museum. So at any rate, we all realized that we really had a great need there for a place which was more suitable for hanging the paintings, a place particularly that was more suitable for storing the work. And that's talk was generated among the faculty and among a lot of us on the sidelines. And we finally kind of decided that we should do something about it. And we tried to start generating interest in collecting money or doing whatever needed to be done to get a place that was more suitable. We decided to call a meeting and just ask a group of people who seemed to have common interests with us what they thought we should do. And it was out of that meeting that a decision was made to form a group called the Friends of Art. Just the people on campus who did really care about the preservation of this wonderful artwork.
In 1990, the University Board of Directors voted to build the Center for the Arts with a proper museum facility. President Harvey and Vice President Maddox went to the Urschels to ask for $1.5 million to build the museum. They said to him, well, we'll double it if you build a basement and if you name the building for Brauer, which was totally unexpected. Well, it really is more than a basement. It's a space that is 18 foot high. The footprint is the same as the footprint of the main floor of the main gallery, including the mechanical room in the back. So it's a very big space. We have the kind of workspace that provides for the future. At any rate, that was a very, very big thing at the end of my career here.
When I first started at the museum, I went downstairs and I saw the storage areas. I was fresh off an internship at the Art Institute of Chicago, and so I was used to the Art Institute of Chicago spaces, and then I saw this facility, and I thought in some ways it was every bit as good as the Art Institute. Very impressive. Overall, I feel really good when I look through the collection here and I notice one solid work of art after another.
people seem to be very surprised that we have this large of a space and that we have so many works. Sometimes I think they're surprised that we have originals here.
There had been a number of exhibits launched by the staff, the art staff of the university about this time. And naturally, the impetus for getting them going was to help students who enjoyed art or who participated in art to get to know it better and to know what it was all about, to try to understand who the artists were, and particularly, specifically, who was Junius Sloan, and what did that have to do with education at Valpo.
We try to find a visual component we have in the permanent collection, and we pull a number of those out and have them on easels and actually have the class here in this space, because we want the students to know the museum is here and it's for them and they can come anytime. Freshmen also in the core have to do a 5th hour, which is like an extra credit thing. They have to go to certain events that are core approved on campus, and so a lot of our gallery talks or our student coffee hours where we try to have an artist here or things like that are core approved, so then students can come back and participate in an event that will get them the credit they need for the 5th hour.
A secondary mission of the museum and of the collection would be international religious art. If something is going to be from another country, it most likely is going to be of a religious nature. We welcome a study of and appreciation for the various world faiths.
I think one of the real blessings of art, or one of the real gifts of the art, is it's a chance to step back and appreciate, maybe even in a microcosm, something of both substance and beauty that enriches you in your thinking or understanding. Many pieces of work that belong to me have sort of a religious significance. The only thing I have right now are these things hanging on the wall, which I've given. A good friend of mine, Jim Nickel, and I, who collected many of these works, did so because we knew the artist. And we also have no one to whom we would give them. And we wanted to make sure that they had a good home when we are gone.
Finally, we have pieces from other countries that are of international character, but they're not religious. They don't fit tidily into our primary or secondary missions, but the works are of such quality, it's frankly hard to say no to them. In other words, the pieces are of such an educational value that even though they don't fulfill the particular primary or secondary missions, nevertheless they are worthwhile for students and viewers to experience.
I think if we just keep changing things around and encouraging people to come, people see something they like. And that's what I would hope, that students, if the first time through they don't really like it or didn't see something, that they come back, get them to come back. We also then offer some internships for people who could do more work, like in the basement with, doing inventory or accessioning works or helping us put up shows or different things like that. And that sometimes goes along with the museum studies class. They're learning a lot of those things in the museum studies class, but then they go into it a little bit deeper if they do an internship. Also, I would love to offer, positions to students on campus and get them involved in the museum or get to know about the museum.